What up, brothers and sisters? We made it. Yeah, they can be mad, sad, glad, or anything in the middle. I really don't give a damn, but let me say this right here. Uh Funniest thing in the world. The other day I was talking to this dude and we was kicking it, having a couple drinks, and we're talking about Juneteenth. And I say, I don't celebrate Juneteenth. And he say, why, bro? And I say, because there's nothing to celebrate. And he's like, what you mean by that? And I say, well, and I'm paraphrasing what he says because there were more words than that. But I said pretty much Juneteenth is a worthless day to stand back and look at. And before people try to say I'm trying to undo or undermine black people, let's look at something real quick. I don't have nothing to undermine or to underdo. I'm not here to try to make black people's lives or existence harder than what it already is. So when you have these situations that that we all face and go through, it's once again I'm saying what I'm saying to say it. Okay, that's cool. Let me blow that up. What is there to celebrate? Don't get mad. I'm gonna do a whole breakdown of what you're celebrating. Juneteenth is a celebration of individuals who did not realize that they were already free. But what it is really people celebrating the cowardice nature of some individuals and then the unwilling nature of others. And I'll break down the difference. A coward is not always unwilling, they might be willing, but until somebody else initiates, they won't initiate. Somebody that is unwilling may not be a coward. They may not need you to initiate anything, but that does not mean that they're going to go out of the way to do something. Now, that being said, I know people are like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? I'll get to that. I'll get to the Barbary treaties of Morocco and all those things soon enough. You just let me get my point across, please. So, these people did not know, but also you could contend had no fight. See, all these runaway slave, revolt minded niggas, I like to remind them of how many black people were more docile than they care to say. And more so than that, how many black people, you guys know, caveat, you guys know I'm the first to say that the Emancipation Proclamation made more black people homeless overnight and indigent and impoverished. Right on. Did them no real justice other than the fact of symbolic freedom. Can you hear me? Right. So this isn't me speaking on a level of, oh, I think these are cowards for real, but this is like they may have been cowards. They may have known about the Civil War going on that whole time and decided not to revolt. They could have. Maybe they died, maybe they don't. However, they waited and they didn't know until this day, so called June 19th, that the war was over. Can y'all hear me? So What is there to celebrate? Oh, I get it. You want people to believe that this is a holy day. There are no holy days in an unholy land. Let me repeat myself. There will never be a holy day in this unholy land. The two things cannot coexist, and you will not make them just because you've convoluted righteousness and unrighteousness in your twisted metal minds does not mean that in the actuality, the reality, the tangible thing that we all live in, you get to try to usurp what are divine physics, laws, ordinances, statutes, and commandments, my friend. You don't get to do that. So for you to act like today is a greater day for black people in the middle of a month that where they celebrate debauchery and the ending, the willful ending of bloodlines, how dare you? Excuse me. Back to my point. Wanted to read something because a lot of people don't be knowing a goddamn thing. To all persons to whom these presents shall come or be made known as the United States of America and Congress assembled by the commission bearing date 12th of May 1784 thought proper to constitute John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson, their ministers, plenipotentiary, giving them or a majority of them full powers to confer, treat, and negotiate with the ambassador, minister, or commissioner of His Majesty of the Emperor of Morocco concerning a treaty of amity and commerce to make and receive propositions for such treaty and to conclude and name transmitting it to the United States and Congress assembled for their final ratification and by one other commission bearing the date 11th day of March 1785 did further empower the said ministers plenipotentiary potentiary or a majority of them by writing under the hands and seals to appoint such agent in the said business as they might think proper with authority under the directions and instructions of said ministers to commence and prosecute the said negotiations and conferences for the said provided that the said treaty should be signed by the said ministers, whereas we, the said John Adams and Thomas, two of the said ministers plenipotentiary, the said Benjamin Franklin being absent, by writing under hand and seal of said John Adams at London, October the 5th, 1785 and of said Thomas Jefferson at Paris, October the 11th of the same year, did appoint Thomas Barclay, agent in business aforesaid, before, giving, and I'll break this all down in a second, giving him the powers therein, which the said second commission we authorized to give. And the said Thomas Barclay, in pursuance thereof, hath arranged articles for a treaty of amity and commerce between the United States of America and his Majesty of the Emperor of Morocco, which written articles in the Arabic language confirmed by his said majesty, the Emperor of Morocco, and sealed with his royal seal, being translated into the language of the said United States of America. Together, the attestations thereto annexed are in the following words, to wit, in the name of Almighty God. This is a peace truce. This is a peace and friendship established between us and the United States of America, which is confirmed and which we have ordered to be written in this book, sealed with our royal seal at the court of Morocco on this 25th day of the blessed month of Shaban in year 1200, trusting in God, it will remain permanent. We declare that both parties have agreed that this treaty, consisting of 25 articles, shall be inserted in this book and delivered to the Honorable Thomas Barclay, agent of the United States, now at our court, with whose approbation it had been made and is duly authorized on their part to treat us concerning all matters contained therein. If either of the parties shall be at war with any nation whatever, the other party shall not take a commission from the enemy nor fight under their colors. Okay, let's keep going. If either of the parties shall be at war with any nation whatever and take a prize belonging to that nation, there shall be found on board subjects or effects belonging to either of the parties. The subject shall be set at liberty, and the effects returned to the owners. And if any goods belonging to any nation with whom either of the parties shall be at war shall be loaded on vessels belonging to the other party, they shall pass free and unmolested without any attempt being made to take or detain them. Stop right there. 1 second. Because I got to pull up a whole bunch of other stuff. And I know people are going to be like, nigga, what are you doing? Just please give me a second. Bang, bang, bang. Because sometimes there's there's a misunderstanding. So right now we're reading what is the so-called one of the many Moroccan treaties. You know what I'm saying? Um, um, so this is not the first one that I know of, but it's the one that I'd like to use. You get what I'm saying? It's the one that I like to use. I think it's easier like that. I think it's better like that. However, let's do this. So that way you guys know who these people that they're talking about are. Can we share the screen again? Tab. Barclay. Here. Studio. Okay, that's cool. All right. Thomas Barclay. So this is him. And then this is clearly Jefferson. Y'all know who that is. All right. My thing is this. So for people who might have thought that I was, like that I was tripping, I'm not tripping. Understand, this is in 1785. Look at what year this man died. 1793. You understand? So this is just a handful of years before he gives up the ghost. He wouldn't be around to see it all the way through. This man dies in 1826. Okay. 40 years later, I mean, he dies 40 years later after they do the treaty. But you guys got to understand what all took place during all these years. The atmosphere was different. Share this back again with y'all. 1 second. Mhm. Oh, tab. Avalon project. Share. View in studio. Okay. AJ had to do a whole bunch of little. Let me blow this back up. Uh, maybe that's a little bit too big. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. So what we're reading right here. This is the United States, you know what I'm saying, getting a translation of what the Moroccans expected at that time. Now, people gonna be like, me, these are French dudes, these are French guys. No, they're not. No, they're not. These are, you can't have black people in Morocco to this day, and then there not have been more black people there back in the 1700s. More so, greater yet, you cannot make things up like the Europeans didn't fully penetrate the land of so-called Africa until the the late 19th, coming into the early 20th century. But then you follow what I'm saying. But then somehow these guys were already white before that. It doesn't make sense. So you guys have to understand what's really going on. And let me read that part to you. So all this is just them saying that business is good to do business. Can you hear me? All that shit that we just read, all that means it's good to do business between the two places. Now, because it's good to do business, they're saying this is what they expect as business between the two. Now, do y'all realize the Moroccan in year 1200 back in the 1700s? Think about that. So they don't, their time is different than yours and mine. The Anybody who's from a direct bloodline of that does not think like people like you would think that what you call normal or regular. They don't think like that. Anyhow, I just need to read this part again because this is the most, to me, this is the most interesting thing of them all. If either of the parties shall be at war with any nation, whatever, and take a prize belonging to that nation, and there shall be found aboard subjects or effects belonging to either of the parties, the subject shall be set at liberty, and the effects returned to the owners. So that means that if the things that you find, so if the people and the things that you find, you set the people free. And if they're saying that's my coat, that's my this, that's my this, you give them their things that are theirs because they know that it's theirs. Does that make sense? So imagine you pull up, you guys take over a ship, and there's a prince to a tribe there. Everybody's saying he's a prince to the tribe. He's saying he's a prince to the tribe. They're saying, dude, you got to let him go. And he's saying, everything in that back corner is mine. Everything else, I don't know who it belongs to, but everything in that back corner is me. You have to give that back to him. Now, I need y'all to listen to me. I'm going to make this real diabolical and fucked up. If I'm a Moroccan and on this ship is me and a bunch of my nigga slaves, I'm a nigga myself now, but these niggas is my slaves, and we get took over or whatever, and you realize that, oh, y'all are under the Moroccan treaty, right? We're supposed to honor that, is what that's supposed to mean. You're not supposed to take me in. These nigga slaves and me are going to the new land. You understand? Me and all my things are going to the new land. My effects. You understand? Right. See, but it's different though when you don't have that sort of view on it. So if you're not looking at it as the subjects might be subject to a subject, or a subject might be treating people as their effects. Mm, 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 mm. You may not understand what this is really saying. Let's keep reading. And if any goods belonging to any nation with whom of the parties shall be at war shall be loaded on vessels belonging to the other party, they shall pass free and unmolested without any attempt being made to take or detain them. Stop right there. Hey, Jane, hey, gang, you can't take my slaves from me, dude. I'm sailing the high seas. You know I'm Moroccan. Word? You know I'm Moroccan. You know these niggas is my slaves. How you gonna take my shit? Giving y'all a translation. How you gonna motherfucking make me a slave? Now I'm trying to revolt and cause a revolt in this bitch. And y'all ain't never looked at the revolts like that, have you? That them revolts might have been caused by individuals who knew that they weren't slaves. Shh. Not people who had already accepted it or who had already been in a servitude class, okay, in a servitude position and circumstance for over 1,000 years in the land that you call Africa, underneath those people that whom you consider to be Africans. Anyway, here we are. Close. Again, I asked you, my brothers and sisters, what is there to celebrate? I'm saying? They're like, where's your question mark? No. What is there to celebrate though? Like, it's a question, but I'm saying like, nigga, what's there to celebrate right now? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a question statement. I don't give a fuck about none of this. It doesn't change anything. Do not tell me about Juneteenth and then go on and be like white supremacy. But the same so-called white supremacists are trying to make this shit a national holiday so that way people get overtime pay, a double pay, whatever, holiday pay, whatever. Once again, don't y'all think it's weird that some of the dudes who bellyache the loudest have like super highly questionable backgrounds? And I'm saying highly like questionable backgrounds, like because you really don't know shit about them. If I work somewhere for a month, I can tell you I worked there and I did that work. How would you know how extensive the work is, especially if I'm knowledgeable in the field? You wouldn't be able to tell me apart from a long range, a long term experienced person. Say for we go on the job site and I see something that experience would tell me versus my worldly knowledge. However, that not even being my concern, my thing is this: what is there to celebrate? What are you celebrating? Do you understand? What are you celebrating? I'm like, this is like a real life question. It's not me knocking nobody. So you're telling me yesterday wasn't a good day to cook and just cook off a bunch of food yesterday, the day before that? No. Tell me what makes those days unworthy of you doing the same thing. Make it make sense. Right. You can't. You won't. So don't try to, please. That little second of you pondering it was you realizing, oh shit, that was a rhetorical question. Almost. It was more or less a trick question. Because I like for people to believe that they can answer something like that, knowing damn well there's no right answer to that. Knowing damn well whatever answer they give me is them showing me that they believe that they're not in the that they're not in the wrong. There's no fallacy in what they're doing. I was the only person that I knew who told people about mental health awareness. Me, that I can think of, that actively was like, yo. Now what's funny, talk about like years ago when I first caught my ERPO, because it wasn't on my radar that tough like that. But when I caught the ERPO, I was like, oh man, I gotta warn everybody. And what did I do? I warned the people and nobody listened. And then look what happened to the atmosphere. And now look at where shit is at now. Motherfuckers going crazy left and right. But I told people what was going to happen. I literally told them that this was whatever. I'm telling you right now, I have no need to BS you, lie to you, or try to get over on you. I'm not going to lie to you, lie for you, lie on you. Check this out. You're celebrating the fact that there's either people who were unwilling to fight for their own freedom, knowing everyone else there had been revolts around. Right on. Word. Or were too scared to fight for their freedom. Right. So this is why when you want to tell me something about anything, I'm like, what are you talking about? Right. These dudes be proud to be from places that used to treat black people like shit. Let that sink the fuck in, nigga. You're proud to be from somewhere that used to treat you like shit. And niggas still don't have nothing, and you're still proud to be from that place. You're a disgrace, nigga, to the whole race. You're a disgrace to the whole people, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. I spit in your face. Nigga, fuck you, nigga. Every nigga who's like that, who's extra proud to be from some shitty ass place. Fuck all y'all. You ain't gonna do that to me. We I ain't even worried about that. In real life, you would do nothing to me. And it's supposed to spit in your face, I'd knock your fucking head off. Whoo! Whoo! Or just right down the pipes. Right on. If I got time to bring that bitch back from Mississippi, you best believe I'm hitting you with a mean one. But if I just got to fire right down the middle, we will. We'll fire down the middle. So that way you can't get out the way of these motherfuckers. But trust and believe that. Garbage, trash ass, bitch ass niggas and bitchettes. Yeah. Suckers. And you know you a sucker. I'm proud to be from this place. I bet you are. I take satisfaction in knowing that my people were born in the deep, dirty South. I take deep satisfaction in knowing that both my parents were born in the deep, dirty South. Let me be more clear. I take a great amount of see because you see what I'm saying, right? Because they can either, it's not where you're at, it's where you are. I get that. But you know what, though? Where you've been also matters too. Where you've been also matters too. So if you were born at a time, let's say, where it was easier to do certain things, right? Easier to get a job when you were younger. A lot of these dudes who were 12, 13 years older, 14, 15 years older than me don't understand the duress of 2010, 2011, because they're already grown ups, skill sets, have a resume. When you're 19, 20 years old and you're not uh You're not a child of nepotism, right? You're not a child of golden opportunity. So that means that the limited skill set that you have, but your excitedness, your motivation, your your uh your readiness to be put to work should have been more than enough. And your teachability and your learnability. But that's not enough though. So, and there's a lot of these guys who can't understand. You got a job in if you got your first job in 2000, you can't relate it to 10 years later. You fucking can't because it was a whole different earth. If you got your first job in 98, 99 or understand what I'm saying. The older you are, you can really appreciate the point that I'm about to make. Okay, imagine how much harder it got to work after 9/11, right? The- that's when they started to do real life background checks on everybody and everything. People forget that. Right. Homeland Security, all that shit. Patriot Act. It was going down. But then 7 years later, okay, the housing market crashes. You've got people with masters and PhDs being relegated, okay, to the lowest end jobs. We're not even talking about working at a fast food spot, y'all. We're talking about underneath that. Whatever y'all think those jobs are, those jobs were taken up by people who were like that. Then slowly, little by little, the market or whatever called itself recovering. Those people would go back to some of the jobs that they were used to. Other people's lives were totally undone by that whole point. And once again, I need y'all to understand for every year that black people have been free from slavery, show me a year where there has not been calamity or tragedy. You know what I'm saying? Travesty. Okay. Trials and tribulations. Show me a year where it was all benevolence. Oh, what about civil rights? That's not benevolence because you marching in the street and getting bit by fucking dogs is not benevolence, nigga. You getting sprayed down by a water hose because a high pressure hose that's used to put out fires on burning buildings is not benevolence, nigga. You understand me? However, again, if you're a certain age, you can appreciate the abilities that you had to be able to go work when there was still work available, readily available. Right. It's different. It's different. We're at a point where degrees are useless and meaningless. 14 and 15-year-olds every day graduate with masters and bachelors, and some of them are as young as 16 and 17 graduating with their doctorates. So it's just showing us how meaningless and purposeless it is. No disrespect to any of those children. No disrespect. I mean, not that I respect them anyway, but no disrespect to the work that they put in because they did do the work, but it just tells you how not rigorous any of that shit really is. If I want y'all to understand, if 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 in the age of information they're able to do that, right? Imagine what you would have done if you grew up with all those things at your fingertip. You couldn't just say, "Hey Google," growing up. Anybody who knows anything about what I'm about to say knows this is the truth. See, people who were years older than me, they don't know. I'm part of that for real, like search engine. Like we're my generation perfected the search. We're the reason why searching is so easy. Can you dig it? Because we were taught how to search by people who taught y'all. Ask specific questions. So the specific question, ask it. If it's too big, break it. Uh, condense the question. Right. Look for contradictory information. The research is no good if there's nothing that pushes back. You should always be looking for research that pushes back on what you're saying. That's the healthiest way to research. That's the healthiest way to know and understand something. And then the last thing about that search and on that internet is knowing good information from bad information. So being able to know, so being able to take, see, this is something that I learned right on, that I taught myself, but I've been doing this for so long, it doesn't matter. Everything I know about something, I will bring all my information. And I know a lot of y'all, you're like, how the hell do you bring everything you know to the forefront? Everything I can muster up about that singular subject, that particular thing, I will bring that to the forefront. So it doesn't matter if it's diametrically opposed to what it does not matter. You need the strongest arguments against you that can be made against whatever you're looking for. You need those arguments to be made so that way, if you're going to come up with a defense, and if not even a defense, a clarified understanding, come on, say that then. But that has to be done. However, people who grew up at a certain time cannot understand the struggle like a person who's younger than them. These dudes who were 18, 19, I feel for them. The money's there, but the opportunities aren't. They got to understand the opportunities are not there for them like that. They got to take way more chances to get way less. They're taking way more chances to get way less. It's stupid. It's stupid. Dudes were making the kind of money that some of these people make now, people were making in the 90s, doing the same work. Like when you take what they were making back then and compare it to now, it's the same money. Meaning you're not making any more money to do the same work, and you should be getting paid more money to do the same work. There's only a few fields where you get paid more money to do more work, to do the work. But it's not even that you're getting paid more money in the perception as it is that there's already more money here. There's already, so it's like baseball has been around for forever, right? 100 plus years, 120 years, some shit like this. It's been around for a long fucking time, maybe almost 130. I'm saying this though, when you've had that long to be a business and build it up and build it up and build it up, and now you're 7 generations in, 6 generations in, think about that for a second. That's a big deal, right? The money's already there. But for these little startup companies that people believe will work, and I'm not talking about something that has already been done on this earth. I'm talking about things that have not yet to be done that you believe can be done or will be done. Look, y'all, it's almost 2030. Planes are falling out the sky like never before. And you think there's going to be flying cars? Okay. Okay. How do you regulate if somebody's been driving or not? What if they just get their dog to do the breathalyzer? Like, are you going to have a DNA scanner and these things that know the difference between a person and an animal? Like, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Are you going to have to buy airspace to be able to fly in the sky? Does your airspace, is it based on the actual height that you're flying at, or the distance that you're flying, or the zone that you fly within? Like, how does that work? Like, all these things matter. And you think that these guys are coming up with new bright night? No. The only way you come up these days is by doing what has already been done. And most of the things that have been done are wicked, nefarious, and evil. This is the reason why drugs have never fallen out of popularity because the wicked ones they don't have to do anything. You go to work, you work hard, you build the buildings, you build the cars, and then I supply you with the so-called vice, something that in most cases nature would provide naturally. It's gonna happen. Maybe powder cocaine you don't get, but you get the paste. You can get that for sure. You don't get heroin, but you can get some opium for sure out of natural nature. Yeah, you can't get no CBD oil naturally like that out of nature, but you can get some bud and you can get some hemp and you can get some hash. Those are all naturally occurring things. So I'm saying like you have individuals who have the audacity to try to charge you for something that already naturally occurs. And if nobody ever bought it, it would be cheap as fuck anyway because nobody buys it. So there'd be surpluses and stockpiles of it, right? But they put chemical agents on it outside of its own natural property that may be addictive, or people may have an overindulgent mentality and biological makeup. Let me break something down real quick, and this is gonna fuck y'all up. There are fat drug addicts. Don't get it twisted. But there's not nearly as many fat drug addicts out there because the thing that they indulge in, which is food, they don't need the dope. They don't need the drugs because they already fixing. You see what I'm saying? Right. So it's that same thing. But we're dealing in a society where you have individuals who think that because they're at a certain position, and you got young dudes too who they swear, oh man, I'm 22, man, I'm balling out of control. Look, little bro, they can take that away from you any day. Ask Bill Cosby. You feel me? Ask him. Ask Mike Tyson if they can't just strum up some shit on you and just throw that ass in prison. Ask him. Ask Wesley Snipes. Y'all think he's the only actor to never pay his taxes? Fucking for real? Right. Ask him. Nigga don't believe me? Shit, nigga, they will lock your ass up for anything, bruh. So they'll take it from you for anything. All my older niggas who like, I work for this shit. And all the niggas my age. Listen, they can just take it. It doesn't matter. It does not matter what you did to get it. Because how they'll take it is not how you got it. Ask me how I know. Right. You can't you can't upend somebody's life, their whole entire life, not be brought to charge for what you done, and it not be something that is agreed upon by all those who partake. Because it's just very difficult for me to understand how I can tell you or you can try to tell me, hey, we think you did this. No proof. In fact, the evidence that we have says otherwise. But we think you did this. So now we're going to upend your life. You can't do what you could do because in order for you to be able to do that, you would have to be able to gad about freely. But why would you go anywhere if you have to worry about the potential because anything can happen. That's what I'm saying. Why would you leave if you're already in a situation where they want you to get in trouble? They want something to happen so they can say, "See, look, we told you." What is there to celebrate, brothers and sisters? Right. And don't fucking any shitty ass niggas don't be out here crying foul then. You got days you want to celebrate. Listen, Father's Day. I don't like celebrate Father's Day, but I acknowledge all men that are fathers anyway. But if there's a day where I can just say, "Hey man, happy Father's Day," just because, I'll say it. It ain't no holy day to me, but let it be a day to acknowledge somebody who may or may not be a father or may want to be a father or will be a father one day. That's a beautiful thing. It's not right that is. So, for example, I'm supposed to honor a father who's a drug dealing piece of shit just because you provide for your children, nigga. Man, get the fuck out. Like, you niggas, once again, you niggas are so mentally fucking confused. You don't know what you want to root for. You got to do what you got to do. So if that's the case, so if somebody shoots that dude in his face and that guy provides for his family by shooting and killing drug dealers, is that okay? Like, where the fuck do you guys draw the line? Right. What are you celebrating? You got niggas in the hood, literally, nigga ain't never had a job in his life. Always plotting on somebody who do got a job. Always want niggas who work to support him, but don't want to work though. They don't work for the motherfucking white man. Okay, bro. Okay. That's that weenie shit. Can you dig it? That's that weenie shit. He felt what? Come on. I just don't know. People feel like that. People feel like they are owed a day to celebrate. Feel like they're owed, but you're not owed anything in this society. You're a fucking dirtbag in this society, even if you work for everything you got. Guess what they say every single time a crime is committed by a black person? That's right. It's the, it's the 13% right there. That's what they do. That's them. That's their bullshit, ain't it? Tell me I'm lying. You don't got to go to nigga. You don't have to go to no racist ass platform, cuz. And if that's the case, they're all racist because you can find the same comments everywhere you go. That's the 13% right there. It's just one community. Right on. Yeah, 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 yeah. And yet y'all want to celebrate a day where there's people, listen to me now, who are the progenitors of some of the very same people who I'm just not talking about. The shitty ass niggas who don't want to do nothing, don't want to work, don't want to none of that. And before we get any further, I will say, I will capitulate that the Chinese brought opium over, and that was the downfall of most black people. Like, as far as like super duper hard working, everybody just, like hard charging. But then again, I gotta point out and say how opium helped some of those brothers to be able to function because their bodies were in so much pain. Like, people gotta realize how much pain the black slaves were in. You know what I mean? Like, it was supposed to be medicinal, and then niggas turned to getting addicted, and then Right. Now you're on a plantation while this stuff is first introduced to y'all. But the Chinese, you guys gotta understand, the Chinese had only been there for a handful of years. This is all convenient that they introduced opium when they did, right? So only a couple years later, now you're gonna be a free person, and you can do whatever you like. And it just so happens that these Chinese are in the South with you and other places with you, selling you what? That's right. Giving you what? That's right. How hard is it to outwork somebody who's high on heroin all day? How hard is it for them to look late? Like, are they lazy or are they just high? And then at what point are they an addict? Right. Now, did the Chinese do that to the white man, so-called white man? Nope. He waited years to do that. Waited decades, almost 2 generations to do that to the white man. But did that to us right as soon as they got here. You guys think that was by design? Again, once again, niggas who sell dope, brought, but he paid for the whole cookout today. Your dope dealing cousin, right? Shitty ass nigga, or the nigga who shoots niggas for a living. He paid for the cookout today. Right. What is there to celebrate, y'all? You're literally fucking mentally ill if you think you have an excuse, if you think you have an explanation or reasoning. You don't have anything like that. I bless the Most High God. I thank the Most High God every day for every little bit that I have. I have more sense than whole villages, whole cities of people combined. Having more sense doesn't mean I'm going to have more than them. Jesus knew more than all you niggas, more than all of us. What did he have? Okay, then. So what you have on this earth is not proof to what the fuck you know and what it is that you're actually truly worth. So don't ever get it fucked up because people don't flock around me on this fake ass internet shit. Like I said, in real life, when I deal with people, people listen. Not because they have to, but because they can. Individuals get angry and upset because I say things that are obviously true, ostensibly true. Okay? De facto, nigga. And want to get mad at me because I said something that they don't like. Another thing we're gonna check out before I get up out of here, because black people talk all this bullshit about genocide and they've been trying to genocide us. Hear you niggas crying and bitching and moaning. I'm sounding like some straight up motherfucking hoes, man. And I'll be like, man, listen to these niggas, man. Listen to them. Just listen to them. Just crying about fucking nothing. And they ain't gonna do nothing about it, so I don't know why they crying about it. What is this? The Rome statute. We ain't even gonna get too far into this. Where I just wanna get into some stuff. Crimes within jurisdiction of the court, genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, crimes of aggression, jurisdiction, preconditions to the exercise of jurisdiction, referral of a situation by a state party, prosecutor, exercise of jurisdiction over the crime of aggression, or exercise of jurisdiction, crime of aggression. This is state referral, and this is Security Council referral. They're different. They're different. They're different. Deferral of investigation, prosecution. Major difference is the state, and this one's the Security Council. So let's just say that the state doesn't have jurisdiction over a certain thing, but the Security Council has jurisdiction over it. The state can't do anything, but the Security Council can. Vice versa. Maybe in certain cases, both state and Security Council can both exercise jurisdiction. Deferral of investigation or prosecution, issues of admissibility, preliminary rulings regarding admissibility, challenges to the jurisdiction of the court or the admissibility of a case. Now, I want y'all to understand something. We're just gonna go right down. We're not gonna read all this stuff because all this shit don't matter. Because I know that niggas ain't going. All this is here. The link is there. The link is on the fucking page. You can go back. You can read the stuff yourself. I've read a lot of this stuff before, but I read this years ago, years ago, y'all. When I say years, we're talking 2016, 2017, 2018. Right on. It's been a long time since I've really read it. But I just wanted to get to the part that I know. Where is it? The crime of genocide. Let's just read that. And I want y'all to understand what I'm getting at now. All these so-called black talkers, these niggas are talkivists. The nigga raised $1 million for a museum and could have got $1 million to get a legal team to go over and get this shit prosecuted. Bitch ass niggas. They want me to do it for free so that way they can benefit. I'll be doing nothing of the sort because I have no intent on undermining the Most High God. I'm glad he didn't let me go because now I understand why. He's like, son, you believe in me. Tell them to ask me to save them. I said, all right, Father, you're right. But can I still plead my case to let these individuals know who to prosecute? And he's like, you could, but it doesn't matter. Because if they ask me to save them, who can stop me? And I'm like, you're right. So that's the part where I'm at with y'all. Is I can read to you what you're talking about. This is the Rome Statute. I've been knowing about this for years. For the purpose of this statute, genocide means any. Does it say all? Does it say one? Does this come on? Means any of the following acts committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, such as killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Stop right there. Does this not sound like slavery, y'all? Did they not kill black people? Did they not cause serious bodily and mental harm to black people? Did they not deliberately inflict on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part? Did they not do that as well? Right on. It was cheaper to buy another slave than it was to save them and to show them compassion. Imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. You know, birth control, Planned Parenthood, um, shoddy service when you are giving birth. This is why black women have such high mortality rates when they give birth, because they're going places where the people are trying to kill them, and then they're trying to kill them and act like they didn't try to kill them. You see? Forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. So that's slavery, and that's modern day. Anything that is modern day, but all this applies to slavery. Every last bit of it. Now, when Dr. King said he was going to go to the World Court, what do you think he was going to say? What do you think he was going to say, brothers and sisters? Do you think he was going to say that the white man had been hugging, kissing on the black man, woman, and child, and the white man, woman, and child loved on the black man, woman, and child so much that it just caused him to go crazy and it forced him to come to the world courts? You think that's what he was going to say if he went there? Do you really believe that would have been the prognosis to the situation? Because if so, then you got me. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And what you're celebrating for, even though I have no idea, you must have a good cause. I have nothing to celebrate today. The older I get, the more sober I become up here, no matter what I do. Because it's the finality of it is so it's just obvious. It's like this is it. We won't get another shot. Black people think they're going to get another chance to undo what has been done to them. This is it. You don't get another chance to undo it. This is it. So people can get mad, sad, glad, or whatever, but this is it. So when you have a situation where in which, black people are literally out there, and I get it. They just want something to be happy about. Listen, to act as if I don't understand joy and jubilation would be a massive insult to me as a person. I'm just not so into joy and jubilation that I'm going to deceive myself into believing that today is better than yesterday. It's not. Today is just today. But today is in the now. So that's what makes today so special because it's happening right now. But what happens when my right nows are over? Will it matter as much? Will it mean anything? And that's the point that I'm trying to make right now is that what will all this have meant when there's a day where they can act as if none of this mattered in the first place? Then what? Then what? Always laugh. You have all these black people talking about, you're complaining about the white man da, 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 da. And I'm like, here's the problem. It's not that they're complaining about the white man. It's just that they're pointing out that the so-called white man didn't do anything that he said that he was going to do, that he set out to do. Done everything the opposite. Right. Right. These dudes have literally went places, produced an unknowable number of retarded ass people within the populations that they've been around. Whether it be through their sons or their daughters, it really doesn't matter. Those offspring go on to taint and affect the bloodlines of other people. Takes generations to wash their nasty ass stink out of your bloodline. Takes forever. Right. And people want to get mad when I say shit like that. It's like, it's the truth, though. Show me something that they've ever done that's worth talking about. Show me. Show me that slaves didn't do everything. Show me. Why is there a need for a patent act? No, listen to me. Why is there a need for a patent act if niggas didn't know shit? We're just fucking retarded. Missing link to the ape family. Three-fifths of a person and shit. Why would you need to tell them that you don't have the right to intellectual property? They're they're retarded, I thought. They don't even know what intellectual means, nigga. What are you saying? Unless they do. And then what you're saying is that a group of individuals who cannot articulate themselves in our language and our tongue have the ability to understand that we've become beneficiaries of their hard work. Mm, deep, ain't it? We become beneficiaries of their hard work. Why would they say anything like that, though? Again, in verse, the Afro man, the Negroid, left on this earth in all places that he's ever been, an unknowable number of children. Many of whom go on to have children with the same individuals who oppressed them. Those children go on to have children with the people that oppressed them. And before they know it, they no longer look like the people that are being oppressed. And those children run around here, run amok, getting pregnant and getting pregnant by, yeah, that's right, the black woman and the black man. And people are like, oh, these are just a whole bunch of white folks. And it's like, it's not that simple. It's really not that simple. It's actually a lot more complicated than that, a lot more nuanced than that. I gotta ask anybody, were you there to do any fucking? Were you there when your parents were getting busy? Because if not, right, you only know who your mother is. And if obviously if you look just like your father, then you know who your father is. But I'm saying, if you grew up in a household where you have brothers and sisters and they all look like both of your parents to some degree, but you don't look nothing like your daddy, and you don't even look like your mama like that, that ain't your father, bro. Know that. Sis, that ain't your father. Yeah. Oh, you the only one with loose ass hair like a white person. And the rest of them got nigga hair. Your mama got nigga hair and your daddy got nigga hair. That ain't your daddy. Throwing that out there. Yeah. For all you white folks out there who grew up. Yeah. He got he he got a head full of curly hair. She got a head full of curly hair, but her mama hair is straight. I know what's popping. I already know. And I'm talking about it don't look like her mama pressed it straight. It look like it's just naturally flat. Yep. I know what happened. She let one of them Jufro having ass white boys or one of them light skinned niggas run all up in that. Facts. Don't get mad at me. I'm just trying to break it down. Y'all celebrating y'all enemies. And some of the individuals who y'all don't realize are not necessarily your all out enemies are individuals who were pretty much cloak and dagger sent to fucking destroy you from within. Right. Or without, depending on how they breed. You know, one of the biggest problems that a lot of these niggas have is that they believe in something that's not real. And I'm gonna tell you what they believe in. They believe in America, but America's not real. America's a name, cuz. Hmm. America's not one of the name of the original spirits that was put on the earth to watch over all of mankind. Yes, if you're wondering how they got those names, how those lands got those names, the original names. And I'm not talking about conjecture. I'm talking about the translation, transliterated name that everybody agrees to this day. Those names are names of individuals, whatever you want to call a godlike thing, something that's more than a man. Those are names that go back, though, that go beyond them. Yes. However, you have individuals who are within bloodlines now, or without, on the outside or on the inside, just they're right there on the cuffs, and they're the biggest enemies to black people, period. Because they want you to celebrate some weak ass shit like Juneteenth in the middle of fucking fag month. Think about that. In the middle of homosexual month, in the middle of end heirs of bloodline month, Now, mind you, it wasn't always like that, but they made it like that so that way they could associate this, right? They could associate this day in a month of debaucherous behavior. Why not just, you see what I'm saying? Why, once again, why isn't Black History Month? If it's going to be a month, why is it not June? And why is the LGBT month not February? I've said it for years, for a long time. The fact that it's the shortest month in the whole fucking year is just beyond despicable and heinous. It's a fucking slap to the face, cuz like, you, once again, you relegate and antiquate all the history to the shortest month in the whole year, to the most impactful group to the whole nation. I know what they can do without black people. They're capable of Roanoke Colony, nigga. Roanoke Colony, nigga. That's what they're capable of. They're capable of motherfucking Irish potato famines. Can you hear me? They're capable of crusades without us. We're the only reason why these motherfuckers haven't started murdering each other. Right. It's not because we're trying to keep the peace. It's just because of how we live is naturally way more peaceable. They're like, oh, you black people are crazy. First off, if we could do an experiment just for a year, not even 400 years, let's do a year-long experiment. Right on? Where I get to take your children, I get to send them out wherever I want to for a year. You don't get to see them for a year. Your wife, she's for the streets pretty much for a year. Yeah. Yeah. Whenever we want that, we're going to have that. Hmm. And you, we working your ass from sun up to sundown. Say a word, nigga, we're going to beat the shit out you. Uh-huh. Then we're going to keep working you. And we hope to work you to death. And if you make it through this motherfucking year, I guarantee the last thing you're going to be speaking ill about is black people who made it through slavery and about their offspring who never, ever, ever, the government never tried to sit down and evaluate these people. You know what we call a mental health evaluation now? Never did that with no former slaves, but have the audacity to try to do it with you, even though they didn't see what was wrong with them before. So they can't go back and say, you know what? We got a file on your great, 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 great grandfather. And it just so happens that what you said is something that he said all those years ago when he was freed from slavery. Even more ironically, there was never a census in the United States until 1870. People talk all this shit about the census. Bitch ass nigga, it was a country way before 1870. Right. Right. Like, what's the point of that? That means that all of these individuals who pass for white can now say that they're white, even though there would have been a time when they would have been considered black no matter what. Thank you. Changes the whole perception and concept. So when you have individuals who are here in this land trying to tell you or me what's worth celebrating, I'm like, how do they decide what's worth celebrating and what's not worth celebrating? Huh? How do they get to say that? How do they get to tell me or to tell you what's really worth it or not? Does that make sense? And then better yet, why are they in a position to promote this shit? Right. Nigga, you would swear Juneteenth cuz was the day that the Messiah was going to return or something. The way that they try to act like black people are just supposed to be just so happy about this shit. Man, fuck you motherfuckers, man. Weak ass from third world country ass type motherfuckers. And I ain't never met nobody sorrier than the European. And let me break it down why. I'm tired. Don't if another black person tell you that black people have a victimhood mentality, you tell them, if you tell me that, you let them know. If you say that shit to me in person, I'm fucking punching all your teeth out, nigga. Right on? Because you don't say that shit about no Europeans. You don't say none of the Europeans, whether they're from the Eastern Bloc or whatever. You don't say that shit about no motherfucking Hispanics, and you damn sure don't say that shit about no fucking Asians, who they keep a fucking Asian, a Chinese ball sack in their mouth about how good the Asians are doing. They keep somebody's nuts in their mouth, dude. Just shameful. You know what I'm saying? Shameful. These niggas have the greatest victimhood mentality. Outside of the Europeans, the Asians have the greatest victimhood mentality. These dudes tell you so much how they work so hard. People are like, no, they don't. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. We're hardworking people. We come here, we work hard. We work hard, we work very hard. My mother worked 3 jobs when she get here. Funniest thing is they let your mama work 3 jobs, nigga. Right. Right. Is now right. How many black people did you know who were just looking for work and couldn't find work? They always conveniently skip over that and gloss over that. Right. When you was in the hood, when your mama was in Crenshaw, living on Crenshaw and shit, around all those niggas, right? And those niggas was looking for work. Could they find any work? But somehow you could. The fuck out of here. Somehow a person who literally your people sold out to the British, to the French, to the English, to the Germans, and turned your whole nation into dope fiends. The whole nation into dope fiends. And you got the nerve to talk to me, nigga. That's victimhood mentality shit right there, y'all. Where they had a chance, they were never enslaved like that, cuz I don't want to hear none of that shit. If you're Chinese, do not make a movie where the invaders and the indigenous look the fucking same. Because I can't understand none of that. Because that's never happened. The invaders and the indigenous look the same, but you've never heard of the invaders. They just came out of nowhere. Never seen them a day in our life. That is fake as fuck. However, though, because people conveniently gloss over the fact that every group that's been in America, the original dudes are victimhood mentality having motherfuckers. And the only people to ever actually be real life victims in America are the only ones who they get mad at when they try not to be the victim. I get it. You sell dope because you don't want to feel like a victim no more. But now you victimizing other people. You worse. You worse. You worse, bro. So you got raped, then you became a rapist. Nigga, are you right? Illogical fuckery at its finest. And that's how this country works. How you gonna get raped and then become a rapist and then cry about how they raped your ancestors? How you gonna say, man, they turn black people into this and this and this, and then go and sell this and this and this to other people or to your own people? What makes it okay for you to do it but not them? Right. Like I said, the original victimhood mentality, where we were the pilgrims were escaping religious persecution. They were escaping the crown. As if that's a fucking reason to not say, as if they sound any less like a fucking victim when they say it like that. You sound even more like a victim. We were escaping the crown. So you mean to tell me that it was so tough in Judah? You mean to tell me it was so damn bad that y'all left Europe because you were being persecuted for religious reasons? Hold on, let this sink in, y'all. Let this shit sink the fuck in. You left for religious persecution, came here and then would start to persecute the very people on the land by calling them savage and godless. Fucking sense does that make? And then have the nerve and audacity to say some shit like that to me and you. Oh, you know, black people have a victimhood mentality. Okay, what mentality are they supposed to have? Just because you were not an active victim, nigga, does not mean that you do not come from a bloodline of people that were victimized in this nation. Nigga, my granddaddy served valiantly in World War II, and the bitch ass government had the fucking nerve to come and pick him up and force him to go to Korea. Man was never the same after that. People talking all that fucking bullshit, man. Fuck that. My granddaddy killed enough people for me, you, and 10 or 20 other niggas combined. Okay? For all of us to have a peace. But that fucked him up. Did he get to? No, back then that was shell shocked. Oh, you just can't live with the Kenya, son. Couldn't get access to his GI Bill. Right? You follow what I'm saying? Right. 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 Shit like that. Couldn't access some of the loans he was supposed to be able to access to get a home with and stuff like that. Think about that. Had to go fight in Korea, came back, and shit wasn't still no different. So all this bullshit they be talking about, nigga, don't fucking come at me with none of that. Do not come at me with none of that shit, because I know you are not about none of that. Pussy ass niggas talking about, oh man, I'll pull up with the switch. It'll be the last thing you do. It'll be the last thing you do. And you better not have no ID on you, because if you do, I'm gonna go to that last known address, and whoever's in there, I'm gonna go see him and touch him. That's that kind of shit. If you want to, you know what I'm saying? Like if you want to get busy, like it ain't nothing. You see what I'm saying? Word? It's like that. That ain't no threat. That's just the act of like that's how that goes. That's how that will go. Ask me how I know. Right. So all that talking shit to people and acting crazy with people, I don't do none of that. But for me to sit here and act like I'm gonna let a fucking straight up devilish piece of shit act like he's doing something because he's celebrating a day where coward ass niggas or niggas unaware or niggas unwilling or whatever the fucking combination it is, right? Didn't know, had no idea, right totally oblivious to this shit, right? I'm supposed to celebrate that. I'm supposed to celebrate cluelessness and and a lack of self awareness. Man, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. The very first thing slaves did when they got free, like I said, nigga, was went to go look for their families. Ain't no other group like black people. But we don't celebrate those days. We don't celebrate just when we just went to go look for each other. Because Juneteenth, we was doing that way before Juneteenth. Right. The moment right, there would need to be a day for every plantation that was ever in America that was disbanded after and before all the slavery, all the plantations ever. When they were disbanded every day and every month, when that shit happened, would have to be known about, so that way we could acknowledge a day where we were able to go out and go seek out our families and go search out our families. A part of genocide is taking your children from you and giving them to someone else. Right. Now, who's taking the Palestinian children? Nobody. And giving them some, I'm like by force? Nobody. Nobody. But are they trying to smash that whole group by killing them? And well, I don't know the whole group. I'm thinking all the bombs that Israel's dropped by now, if they were really trying to kill almost all the Palestinians, they probably could have got most of them. And I'm just gonna be real with you. That's why they're saying they're so moral. Because they're like, We're just bombarding the fuck out of one area with a shit ton of bombs on it, and whoever dies dies, but it won't be all of them because it's not just it's not just it's not a full blanket of bombs, right on? Where they just blanket that whole motherfucker. Trust me, they could have done that. They could still do that. They might just lose their minds and just say, fuck it, we gonna pop this shit off and we gonna make nuclear war over this bitch. Israel still might jump that shit off. If there's a group that will do it, they will most definitely do it. That's why my money's on everybody sabotaging the nukes, and my money's on a solar flare wiping out most, if not all, electrical grid systems. Anything that powers that kind of shit. That's our best bet right now. The Most High God coming back is our very best bet. But outside of him coming back, I will settle for a solar flare that wipes all this shit out. And then the people who claim they have all these fucking skills, will see how skilled you are without power tools. Right on. Do you have the same propensity to smash a hole in the ground without a jackhammer? Are you still willing to cut down a tree without a chainsaw? Are you willing to manually hand drill holes into shit? Right? Are you willing to use a rock and chisel to break your way and then to drill into something? Like these are things that if a person's never done those kind of skills, like if they don't know what it takes to do it by hand, they're not gonna you're not gonna figure it out on the fly. That's not how it works in real life. You didn't learn the skills you have on the fly, you're not gonna learn how to do it the other way on the fly. So you'd have to already be actively doing that kind of shit. But that's how but I want everybody to get caught like that. Right on. I'm not just hoping that on just I want the whole earth to get caught with their pants down. Yeah. And I would pray that it's in the middle of the winter when it's the coldest. Oh my God. That would be so epic. That would kill most of the US. That would kill most people, most places. That's it. That's it. Just like that. Damn. Problem solved. World population issue or whatever the fuck. Over. Just like that. Once again, I have nothing to celebrate. I'm not going to celebrate half victories, part victories, or nothing that's a victory at all. We should have never been enslaved in this land. So I refuse to be grateful for a day where in which, like I said, a bunch of individuals who were unaware of their so-called freedom, their emancipation. I refuse to let that group of unaware of self-unaware peoples be the reason why I celebrate a day where black people had there was more than a reason to be happy for some niggas in Texas. I'm just to say it like that, all out, straight up. There's more than to be happy about than for some niggas in Texas. And don't get mad, but that's the fucking base of it. And what has Texas done for black people since? Nothing. That's right. And I'm gonna act like this place is something that I'm supposed to worship or have adulation for, or right. They just didn't tell their slaves that shit on purpose. That's how dishonorable those motherfuckers in Texas are. Straight dishonorable. But how people have the nerve to get mad at a brother like Meech for saying this kind of stuff. Like I said, these niggas want to act like they tough and shit. They can get fucked all the way up. I have no love for these niggas who have love for all of this wicked ass nation. If you love America, I don't love you. Know that. If you love this country, Demetrius does not love you. You're like, that's evil. No, it's not. That's just me telling you what it is. Right. If you love America, nigga, I have zero love for you. None. And I'm not going to look for love for a motherfucker who shouldn't be getting no love. They wicked. You know what I love about this country? The fact that one day it's gonna be over. The fact that it may be in my lifetime, I might see this shit go down. Motherfuckers are like, but what happens to black people then? What are you talking about? What the fuck are y'all talking about? This shit is not a fucking movie, y'all, where they just get to round all you dudes up and force you all. Right now, their best chance of putting us back into slavery is right now. They got your address, homie. They don't have to guess where you're at. They have your if they don't have that, they have your last known address for sure. Yeah. This is why there's a unemployment department in every state. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can just look and see what your work history is in all 50 states, all 48 contingent, and then the other two, Alaska and Hawaii. Yeah. We can just look up where you're at and come get you. Do y'all understand that? If the police were to go around right now and be rounding up a whole bunch of niggas, who gonna stop them? Don't answer it out loud. You just if you can't answer it, answer it. Who's gonna stop them? Hmm? You think the hood nigga with a switch with only two magazines and the two mags are gone in 7 seconds, you think he's stopping the police from catching him? Hmm? You think he just won't get dead? Oh, you guys think this shit's Call of Duty? You guys think you guys are just gonna squat up in a house and so then what happens if they just send a fucking robot drone in that bitch and blow it up? Controlled shape charge. Yes, that just in case you guys don't know what a shape charge is a blast that's meant to go in a specific direction. So if they want it to explode exclusively, vertical, it can. If they want it to explode horizontal, it can. If they want it to explode in a perpendicular motion, it can. Right. They have that. So what? You guys gonna escape that? You guys gonna escape the fact that they've already weaponized drones? They'll send one of those motherfuckers in there, like I said, blow that whole bitch up. That's it. That's it. That's it. So what are you gonna do? Why would they pull out the big guns in you right now if they're not rounding us all up? That'd be stupid. Thank you. So, like, whenever people start talking all that stupid ass, crazy, dumb shit, oh, you think your neighbors are gonna stand up for you? Good luck for that. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Unless they're willing to die for you, kill and die for you, they ain't doing shit for you. They're just gonna put their head down and go back in their house. Yep. Yep. Don't ever think that it can't happen again. So celebrate what? Celebrate the fact that one day we could be fucking slaves again? I'm asking a serious, hella serious question. It's only being asked because I don't believe the brothers and the sisters understand what it is that we're up against. These dudes keep calling it a race war, a race war, a race war. Dude, we're in the middle of a prophecy, y'all. The greatest prophecy known to man. The one where there's a specific group of people in this land that are indeed the chosen people of the creator of the heaven and the earth, of the heavens and the earth. And until people come to the conclusion that all people who claim to be his people are not his people, then we will forever be stuck here. See, like I've already said, so it don't see it's different for me, right? Because I'm not one of these dudes who's missing some shit that is essential to being the people claiming to be the fucking people. You follow what I'm saying? I'm not. Oppressed. Check. Have an issue with trying to be around my children for whatever reason. Check. Steadily getting fucked over. Check. I work very hard, almost for nothing sometimes. Check. Can you hear that? Right. Right. Oh, he grows a beard too. The corners. Check. So it's like, what else? What other boxes do I need to check? Circumcised. Yeah, because my mother did that to me when I was a little baby. Made sure I was right. Check. So I'm not just running around here claiming to be the people, and I'm a nigga who's like, I'm literally out of line to God. Fuck what anybody thinks. You're not presentable to God based on his standards. So you can say you're the people all you like, but all your actions say you're not. Because guess what? When God gives you a chance to do something and you choose not to do it, it is not on God. It's on you. And for all these niggas out here who fuck off money on bullshit, but then don't want to take care of no real shit for the Most High God, you are not his people. You are not his people. You are not his people. His people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. They're not openly rebellious once they learn, my nigga. Right. So if you're rebelling the fucking laws, you still want to eat shrimp and pork? Trust me. And you know what the law says, and you're saying that the law is dead, nigga, you're not the people. You're one of these Gentile motherfuckers that Paul was parading around back in the day who were out there, strong arming the real people saying, we are involved in the covenant. We are part of the covenant. The fuck you think was going on back in the day? Huh? What do y'all think was happening? How do you think they usurped your place? Because he told a bunch of individuals who were not the people that they had a chance at the same salvation, even if they didn't do what those people had to do to get that salvation. So now we got a mixture of people who are the real people, strangers, and the mixture of the people and the stranger. And then we got these individuals who were just all out Gentiles, who were not the fucking people at all, 0%. Who were claiming, based on what some dude named Paul said, that they too are involved in the covenant. I refuse to give up my birthright, nigga. I'm not Esau, cuz. I'll starve, nigga. I'll die. Fuck it. But you'll never get my birthright, nigga. It's mine. It's mine. Even if I'm just a stranger, nigga, my people was there when they made that promise to the Most High God, when he told them that from the hewer of wood to the draw of water, if I'm just a stranger, nigga, my people was there, nigga. And I'm just as susceptible and I'm just as responsible to adhere to those laws as any one of the people would be if I'm just a stranger. Right. So for all these dudes who think that being a stranger is a bad thing or is what, nigga, the stranger has a chance of being higher up than the homeborn in the end. So I don't care if I'm a stranger. I don't care. I just know I'm a real life person. I come from a real life bloodline of actual people, not a bunch of savage, heathen barbarians who literally came out of fucking nowhere. Celebrate what? What is there to celebrate? Tell me. Tell me. Have any of you niggas got $1 trillion reparations check yet? Nope. And yet you celebrating this weak shit. When I get my trillion, then we can celebrate. When I get my trillions worth of whatever, then we can celebrate. Can you dig that? Until then, fuck them. Straight up. Until then, fuck that. That's bullshit. That's complete, utter bullshit. Before I roll out here in the next couple of minutes, I just got to just break this down and just share this. There is no time like right now where we get to see how mentally ill all the people really are. These next months and these next years, this next year and a half, or it's gonna be so fucking wild. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be unbelievable shit happening. Unbelievable, esoteric type of stuff happening, and it's gonna be the strong-minded versus the weak-minded in the end. In the end, there are many strong-minded people that are meek. I'm not gonna argue with you about what I'm not gonna do. I'm just not gonna do it. I refuse to rebel against my God, but not rebel against man, so-called man. I refuse to have come from a group of people who are known to have rebelled against the Most High God, but would not rebel in this land against these individuals, and will force myself to capitulate to their rule. I refuse. I refuse. These dudes are literally mentally ill. These motherfuckers are so stupid that they're eating swine chops and pork ribs and shrimp and steak and crab cakes, all this nigga shit, chitlins and all that shit, right? They having a good old time, tearing up some crawdads, everything. You know what I'm talking about? With the butter sauce, a little biscuit bread off to this. Oh yeah, oh man, they getting down. Here's my pushback. Here's my pushback. What's your complaint then? What are you complaining about? Ain't it all good if it's like that? See, I've never been under the impression that people like to hear what I say because they like me. I've always been under the impression that I will eventually say something that they have either never heard or they've never considered, or both. So when I say things that are unheard of and things that were unconsidered, to the mind that is not involved in such things, they have to appreciate. I don't say it to them. I say it to say it to the people. They just so happen to be a beneficiary of what I said. We have an entire generation of people who are coming up, some of them just coming to age, where in which there's never been such a hopeless plight on the earth. And the burden that's been placed upon these youngsters is that they should have to save an earth that people who were alive 100 years, almost 130 years before them, set in perpetual destruction before they were even born. Does that even make sense? I mean, does that even really make sense? I know a lot of people are like, Meech, man, you're just mad because you're going through the stuff you're going through. Meech, you're the no. Like I said, I fit the description of these people. It's just it's difficult for me to believe that everybody that is the people has everything that the Most High God said that they wouldn't have or would have a very difficult time having, and that they're all the people. I find that hard to believe. I'm just, I, y'all niggas trying to usurp the law. What? I had a conversation with my cousin about this. This is last year when my father passed away, and she was talking about, and I was like, the Most High God said, "His people are the tail, they're no longer the head." She's like, I'm not the tail." I don't have nothing to say to you about it. You feel me? At that point, when I realized that she was that rebellious, that conversation with me will never ever happen again. You feel me? She'll never ever hear that wisdom ever again. So she can go her life thinking, but then again, maybe, you're only my cousin, no disrespect. Maybe you're not really the people like that. I love you still, love you all the same, but maybe you're not really the people like that because you can't understand. His people can, how can you, because your life ain't bad right now. You're not the tail. Motherfucker, you're retarded. You're a group. You're part of a group, stupid. See what I'm saying? But that's part of the mentality that females have. Men don't have that mentality. Women have that mentality. Right on? Because a grown man would have compared his situation to the whole groups. But women are exclusively hella selfish. And they're the only part of black people who think that they're their own fucking group set aside. Because they believe that they produce black people. Even though the science bears it out, they do not. Even though their weak ass half breed offsprings bear it out that they are not indeed the carrier of the genomic material that is needed to make the people. You are half, and you are the lesser half in this equation. Don't believe me? All those half breed dudes who were good at everything, they got a black daddy. Every once in a while, there'll be one who doesn't have a all the way black father who's their eye. They get in at the right time and some shit. So they're not going against the toughest competition. Right on? So they're able to ice skate uphill in the proverbial sense. That being the case though, we all know the most successful half breed part breeds, we're talking about physically gifted, have a half black father, part black father. All the little whatever breeds, they all have a father that has a black man that passed them down those genetics. That's the only way that's how it happens. They can get mad about it all they want to. If that was not the case, they would have killed every black man during slavery. Right. Thank you. What the fuck do we need you guys for? We'll just impregnate all the women, make our sons become our slaves, have white children with our white wives, and all those children will be over their slave brothers and sisters forever and ever and ever. The fuck y'all talking about? Once again, y'all niggas talking about these dudes are wicked geniuses, evil. If they are geniuses, then that means, in fact, they thought about that, tried to do it, and it didn't work because they don't have the juice. Thank you very much. And people want to get mad about basic level logic. That's basic logic. That ain't even no deep rooted shit. That's just like, once again, we can look at the numbers of what we see right now today. We can look at what we see with our two eyes today and come to a conclusion that is not that hard to get to. However, though, because we have groups and groups of people who are within the people who are not the people. Did y'all hear what I just said? Because we have strangers within us who are not us, who get high up above us, who get to give us misdirection. Misdirection is black empowerment. You'll never have it in this land. What you think is black empowerment, what you think you got a little piece of that, this shit is coming to a halt, to a head, y'all. So you're willing to lose your soul to gain the fucking earth? The so-called, to gain the world, so-called, to gain the proverbial world, you will lose your souls? Are you serious? Think about it. You're willing to give up your soul to be in charge of this? You don't. That's what I'm saying. We need to be rescued by the Most High God. Our minds are not right. People who would be in and people who would be of a sound mind would not even be trying to do something that sounds like usurping the authority of the great holy ancient head of days. No one. But yet they have us on a path where they want us to try to usurp his authority. You are not God. You are not going to save yourself. When there were no nuclear bombs and you niggas had a chance to save yourselves, you didn't. Are you listening to me? When there were no nukes and you outnumbered the white man over here, did you break free and just get it popping? No, you. I don't want to hear about onesies and twosies. Do not tell me about the fucking Maroons. Those niggas got their ass beat out the nation and ended up on the fucking Trail of Tears. That's what happened to them. That's how successful they were, nigga. At the end, they was crying. If that sounds like success to you, you got me. Fucking got me. If that's success to you. But if that's not success to you, like it's not to me, then we're on the same page. Give me 1 second. As I was saying, I'm not going to try to tell people how to live their lives. I'm just letting them know where I stand on these things. You want to celebrate Juneteenth? You want to eat pork? You want to eat crab and shrimp and lobster and everything unclean underneath the sun? And you want to be with white men and white women and everybody else who's not your people? Right on. You want to give up the greatness that your ancestors truly had way before they was in this land by acquiescing or capitulating your birthright to individuals who were not even you, who were not even your people. Go ahead and do that. See, that's how I know that these niggas are not. That's how I know that they for all the education that they claim that they have, right on. I could read this shit and I could break it down, and then they still won't get it. You see what I'm saying? So if that's right, it's not my job to tell these niggas how to live. It's not. But I'm asking them though, and just in this segment, what exactly are you celebrating? What? What triumphs are so great in this land that they're worth celebrating at all? Tell me. What language did your people speak when they were brought here? Do you know? You know the language that your great 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 granddaddy grandmama spoke? Do you know that language? See, neither do I. They'll tell you it's Arabic. Some of them say, "Oh no, 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 no! It had to have been Aramaic. We're Egyptians, right?" Other guys say, "Oh no, 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 no! You was tongue clicking when y'all came over here. We saved you from lions, tigers, and bears, boy." But the question I'm really asking is, what language do we speak? Because if you cannot tell me that, then what are you celebrating? You don't know anything about yourself. What you know is what your enemies have told you. Your God-given enemies. They were given to you to be enemies. God is testing you to see if you will treat an enemy as you should treat them. Oh, they're not your enemies? Excellent. That means that you don't have to love them because you don't hate them. But then if they're not your enemies, what are they? See, it's a very interesting question. Now, if I'm contending that my actual truest of enemies are the people that I grew up with, that were in my immediate household first and foremost, but because I love my enemies, meaning if I am adversarial towards my brother, my sister, My father, my mother, I still love them. Right. Because those are the first people that you would have an issue with. That's the truth. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that the pale skin has never been and never will be your enemy. I'm just saying that if you are saying that they're not your enemies for the grounds of you don't want to love them, I understand. See how deep that is? But what I won't let you do is tell me that you have to celebrate a day like this, where in which your enemies gave it to you to celebrate. So if your enemies people are like black people celebrated Juneteenth before it was a holiday. Ah! Listen, bitch ass niggas. So why did you need the white man to acknowledge it then? Why did you care if they acknowledged it? Why does it even matter? See what I'm saying? Right. It doesn't matter to me if they acknowledge that Benjamin Banneker fucked up time. It doesn't matter to me if they say that Andrew Beard created the Jenny Company. It doesn't matter to me if they say that Elijah McCoy created the first very effective two-stroke, two-cycle engine that's used to this day in diesel engines. It doesn't matter if they say that 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 Benjamin excuse me, not Benjamin Banneker, but what's the other Benjamin's name? Benjamin B. What is it? Benjamin something. But he was an inventor back then too, right on? It's highly intelligent brother who understood a whole bunch about electrics and magnetism and a few other things. But anyway, Lewis Latimer, same thing. Right. So all I'm saying is like I don't need the white man to acknowledge what my people did. If they had erased it all from history, would we know? Right? You see what I'm saying? Like at some point you have to stand back and just not worry about it and just say, okay, fuck, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? The truth will come out eventually. The truth is, these dudes have never ever been part of any empires. How we know this? Because we have watched the toppling and the rebuilding and the toppling again in our short lives of many different little kingdoms, a multiplicity of them. So there's no way that these individuals are indeed the people from the ancient days because they don't understand longevity, continuity, and perpetuity. If they did, we wouldn't be in this position that we're in. I said all that to say this. If you think today is worth celebrating, then what are you going to celebrate tomorrow? Tomorrow will be a day that was just as important to somebody at the so-called date will be symbolic to somebody at some point in time in history to a black person. Like I said, y'all don't celebrate every damn day for every little thing. It's just I don't see the point in celebrating a day where people who were totally unaware, unwilling, or cowardly, right on, or a combination of all three, should be like, I don't know why I should be celebrating that. I don't get it. I don't understand. Make it makes fucking sense. And don't come at me with that bullshit ass coon shit, nigga, because I will cook you niggas. Right on? I will don't come in here with none of that fuck shit, because you will get cooked. I got way I have a list of information that I will bombard you with that by the time you get done reading that shit, you will not only be a different fucking person, but I guarantee you're gonna owe me an apology. So before we even get to that point, before we even get to where you need to fix your two fucking lips to say I was wrong, right? We're just gonna get past that, and I'm gonna say this right here. You do not know the magnitude of you participating in the bullshit. You're participating in your own demise. How many motherfuckers you think crossed the border today? Yesterday. They can oh, only 2,500 are allowed. Do you believe that? Y'all really, they already said there's exemptions that they'll make for certain circumstances. Right. So while y'all celebrating some bullshit, motherfuckers is steadily coming up here, undermining your ability to be able to actually do what you need to do. And once they feel like they got enough of them to replace enough of us, they're gonna try to knock a whole number of us out the workforce. And it ain't gonna take no 10 years. They're gonna do it while you're still of working age. Now that, my friends, is some shit. Again, if there was something worth celebrating, I'd tell you. I know niggas is mad. They're like, he's a Juneteenth hater. It's coon ass nigga. No, your mama and your daddies are coons. If that's the case, you fuck nigga, you fuck ass bitch, whatever you are, for being a hater like that. You're mad because I don't want to fucking play games with the with punk ass white folks. Right. We're not friends. If we don't have to be enemies, but we're damn sure not friends. They're not invited to the cookout. They're not none of that. Right. Motherfuckers. Just straight trap. Anyway, I could only pray. I could only pray. I can only pray that while I'm still here on this earth, they begin to do what it is that people don't think they are going to do, and the people begin to wail and gnash their fucking teeth. I can only pray I'm here. I just want to see the beginning of all the bullshit because don't nobody believe what's happening. I said they want you to believe in some bullshit. I don't want you to believe in some bullshit. Brothers and sisters, on this note, we leave. Tomorrow will be better than today, and your next week will be better than your last. I salute you. I salute you again. And I salute you once more. Just remember, if it's not worth celebrating, it's probably not worth talking about. And if it's not worth talking about and you won't celebrate it, then you shouldn't even act like it's a real thing. This is my last time ever talking about Juneteenth to the people, as far as the day on the day. Next year, if there's a next year at this time, I'm going to treat it like a regular fucking day. And I'm going to just act like ain't nothing going on. And niggas can call me unaware or whatever, but I know that I'll be the most aware because I understand that that day does nothing, means nothing, does nothing. It's a total fucking fraud. And everybody that partakes in it is fraudulent.